Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over our Ghost Stadium Regionals remote tournament. And for this tournament we used a bit of a unique comp. We were still trying to figure out what we wanted to run for the Mirror Cup of the West, so we were trying out some stuff. In this tournament we used Venusaur, Skarmory, Altaria, Lanturn, Sableye, and Swampert. So we went for double flyer. Most notably, you'll be noticing that Medicham and Azumarill not on this team. I did good in this tournament, but I think that I really regret not putting them on the team, especially Azumarill. And let's go ahead and get into our first matchup here. It's against 2 Fizzy. He just got Ace Trainer, so that is amazing. And he starts off with Azumarill, and luckily for us, we have the Venusaur start with Altaria and Lanturn in the back. So we're just going to be trying to get to our Frenzy plants. We get to them before he gets to Ice Beam, just based on timing there, and he decides to shield. So we decide to mirror that shield because the Ice Beam is going to do a lot of damage, probably like 70% of our HP. And we think he's going to swap out, but he actually ends up staying in here. So we go for this the second Frenzy plant, which takes out the Azumarill. He's going to be coming in with Noctowl. Noctowl, interesting flyer. It's his only flyer on his team. We have enough energy to get off a Frenzy Plant here. He's not going to block anything. I think he's just going to try to farm us down, which for us, we end up getting to a second Frenzy Plant here, which is going to do pretty decent damage against Noctowl, especially considering it's resisted. So we're thinking about who we want to bring in. We decide we'll just bring in Lanturn. He's got a ton of extra energy, probably has 2 Sky attacks in the back, and Lanturn's going to be able to eat up these Sky attacks. Now he brings in Swampert, and I think for a second I can just stay in that matchup, but then I decide, you know what, no reason to stay in there. Altaria is really good against Swampert. It resists the Hydro Cannons all day. In fact, I think it resists everything that Swampert has. Maybe it takes neutral damage against Sledge Wave if they have Sledge Wave, but it's going to take him a while if he does have that. So we just go for the aerial, or the is it aerial ace? Yeah, we go for the aerial ace there. He blocks it. Our Altaria is pretty low, but we're just going to take the Hydro Cannons. Like I said, they don't do very much damage, and we're going to have enough energy for this Sky attack here against the really low HP Noctowl, and he doesn't have any shields, so it's going to end up taking him out. So we take game 1 there. For game 2, we decide we really like that team. We're gonna swap the person in front to Altaria, which is gonna be pretty decent against everything. Obviously it's really bad against Azumarill, but we think he's not gonna lead Azumarill again. So he starts off with Noctowl. I don't really know that matchup too much, but he swaps out, and we end up throwing the aerial ace at, or the Sky attack at Azumarill, which isn't going to do very much. It is neutral, but yeah. So we bring in Lanturn here. This may have been a mistake, because if I'm thinking about it, you know, we've already seen Noctowl. Maybe we should have brought in Venusaur, since we know Venusaur is not going to do very well against the Noctowl. We decide to throw out the Thunderbolt right there, which takes out the Azumarill, and he comes in with Swampert, which is really good against Lanturn. If we get to the Hydro Pump, we'll one-shot it, but you know, he's got 2 shields left, so we kind of just want to eat some of these shields, so we throw out the Thunderbolt, even though it's going to get resisted. He ends up shielding it because Swampert doesn't have very much HP, so he hits us with the Hydro Cannon there, and we're pretty low, but I don't want to wait for Lanturn to go down and the Swampert to have all that energy, so I just bring in Altaria, because I know Altaria is going to be pretty good against the Noctowl and the Swampert, but his Noctowl had all that stored energy from the first matchup, so he comes in with a Sky attack, and we shield it, and we go ahead and go for the, I think it's Dragon Pulse, but he blocks it, and now we're just in a race to the next aerial ace, and I have a really low Lanturn in the back and a Venusaur, so I kind of just want to get through this match, so I'm going to use both shields, even though I'm pretty low HP, and then I'm going to go for the Sky attack here, which takes out his Noctowl, and we come in versus the Swampert, and we're pretty low, but like we resist the Hydro Pump, or the Hydro Cannon, but it does take us out, but we have Venusaur in the back, so we'll just Vine Whip him down. And that's the first round there. So the next round is against I think the Cobra 2, and we actually started the recording late here, so this is actually already in after 2 swaps, and it's right now we're Venusaur versus Bastiodon. The first match was Azumarill, or the first 2 Pokemon were Azumarill versus Sableye, and I think we both just farmed up, and then I swapped out and he swapped into Bastiodon. Actually, I think he swapped. I'm not sure. But we ended up taking that Bastiodon out. It cost us a shield, so he's got shield advantage, but we do have the switch advantage. And I look at my team and I think, I don't have a ton of good matchups versus this Venusaur, so we throw out the Sludge Bomb. But then I realize I want the Venusaur for the Azumarill later. And I'm just going to throw out Sableye, since he's pretty neutral against both of these. He's actually not great against Azumarill, as we see right there. I did not think that Play Rough was going to one-shot me. I had so much energy in the back. That's regrettable. But we have Venusaur, and we come in, we take out the Azumarill, and then we shield here because we just have Swampert in the back. And we kind of need to get to this Sludge Bomb, because if Swampert comes into this match with Venusaur over 50% HP, we're just going to get Vine Whip down, because Grass is double super effective against Swampert because he's both ground and water typing. We get a little lucky here. He throws out some energy onto the nearly dead Venusaur, and then we just go for the Muddy Water here because he's so low. We just don't want him to get to a Frenzy Plant because it'll one-shot us. And we take that first match there, which I think we got pretty lucky there. It could have ended a lot worse for us. So we like the team comp, and I don't think he's going to start Azumarill again, so I end up starting Sableye with the exact same team comp, and I think as long as he doesn't start Azumarill, we're pretty good. We're just trying to catch that Medicham. And he actually brings in Skarmory, and I look at the back of my team and I'm thinking, well, I could bring in Swampert, but then if he's got Venusaur again and we get locked into that matchup, he's just going to farm us down and have enough energy to take out either Venusaur or Sableye, whoever I bring in after that. So I'm just going to stay in this matchup. Even though I don't have Power Gym on my Sableye, I'm just going to throw out all the moves that I can. I think that I actually do win this matchup in a 2-shield scenario, even without Power Gym. But we eat a shield and then we swap in a Swampert and we get a little bit of energy, but this was kind of our worst fear, right? We got locked in with the Venusaur. But he actually ends up shielding. I don't know if he thought we had Sludge Wave, but we couldn't have gotten to Sludge Wave in that amount of time. So we end up throwing out the Muddy Water and then I think a Hydro Cannon. And then he just takes us out there with his Venusaur. And we come in with our Venusaur because we have a shield advantage, so we can shield his Sludge Bomb and then throw out our own. And I think I'm going to farm a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to farm a few attacks here at the end because I know he can't get to another charge move. And then I use the Sludge Bomb versus his Venusaur. And even if he comes in with Skarmory, I believe Skarmory's at like 20% HP, so we're not too scared of it. He does get off the Sky Attack though here, which destroys our Venusaur, but I actually end up swapping out and then auto-attacking the Skarmory down. So we're just going to try to get this Azumarill as low as possible, and since we're switch locked anyways, we're just going to throw out all our charge moves, and I believe Venusaur still has a Frenzy Plant in the back, although he's very low, so if the Azumarill gets any charge attack off on our Venusaur, we're done for. And we actually get the Frenzy Plant off with about 5% HP. That is insane. So we come into round 3 here against Bennyfly. He's got Swampert, Skarmory, Azumarill, Venusaur, Medicham, and Bastiodon. So we're super scared of Bastiodon. I kind of wasn't expecting anyone to bring Bastiodon. And actually, I think both of our opponents here had it, the last two, this one and the Cobra. which is super scary for our team because we're double flyers, so I want to make sure that I have Lanturn in the back so that I can farm it down if I end up getting farmed down myself. And he brings in the Altaria here, and we have Venusaur, so we're good to bring him in. And I think we're just going to take this Ice Beam just in case he's got Skarmory in the back. We don't want to get farmed down. So I'm going to go for... Plus, I think we can get to his second Frenzy Plant before he gets to his second Ice Beam. So even if he shields this one, we'd be able to take him out in the next one. And we try to get to this Sludge Bomb. We get to it. Awesome. I think he's probably going to shield this. Yeah, or it would have taken him really low. He would have still survived, but... He thinks we're really close to that Frenzy Plant, which we are. So he goes for the Frenzy Plant there to take out our Venusaur. We're going to bring in Altaria, and we're going to try to farm this down. Sludge Bombs do neutral damage to Altaria, so be on the lookout for that. And as soon as he goes into Bastiodon, we get out of there and into Lanturn. And we can just farm this matchup down. And we know he's got Venusaur in the back. So there's something I do here. I go for the I go for the Hydro Pump, but I don't go for all the bubbles because I don't want to take out Bastiodon. And then I think about farming him down, and then I just decide I don't want to go into that Venusaur matchup, so I just stop attacking completely. I am not going into this Venusaur matchup with Lanturn no matter what. And if Altaria's got to take a few hits from Bastiodon, that's fine. But I will not go into that Venusaur matchup with Lanturn there. I think that was an amazing play there. I think I haven't really seen that before. I think people should do that, though, that you can just let yourself go down. You don't have to go into the bad matchup if you don't want to. And yeah, we have a flyer in the back for the Venusaur, so we take him out there. Next game, we end up swapping in Sableye. And that's because we think Medicham's going to come since he saw Lanturn, and Medicham is good against Lanturn and Venusaur. We start off in the good matchup here versus Azumarill. And we're just going to go straight Frenzy Plants, and I'm sure he's just going to go straight Ice Beams. We take out a shield there, and we're going to mirror his shield. Since we get to ours faster, we're going to be able to see what he does. And he ends up coming in Medicham, and we're kind of close to this Frenzy Plant, so I'm just going to go for it. Hopefully take out his last shield here, and then swap into our Sableye. Since he's Switch Locked, we're just going to Shadow Claw him all the way down. Actually, I think we end up going for a Feint Attack, because I don't want to use a shield against this if he does like an Ice Punch or something. And at Half-Life, we're going to be fine. He already did the Ice Punch, so we know we can survive. It's going to only do about 35%. And since we have 50%, we're going to survive that. We go for the Sneak Attack, which is super effective. And then we take out the Medicham. I think he's going to probably come back in with the Azumarill, since Azumarill is resisting. Oh no, he's going to come in with Bastiodon, I think probably just to farm this Sableye down. We do get a Sneak Attack off, but it's going to be resisted. Or maybe I didn't see if it was resisted or not, and I don't know the resistances, but it didn't do very much damage. But we have Lanturn in the back, which is going to be good against Azumarill and Bastiodon. And we have a shield. And since we knew it farmed, we wanted to block that Stone Edge. And we kind of just want to farm this Bastiodon down. And then, it looks like we just want to take it out as soon as possible and get into that Azumarill matchup, since we're not going to be taking very much damage with the bubbles, since water resists water. And we just want to get to the Thunderbolt. And he's going to get to, this is probably Play Rough if he has it. If he doesn't, it's probably Ice Beam. So I think he had Hydro Pump Ice Beam, if I were to guess. But we wouldn't have gone down to the Play Rough anyways, and we just go for the Thunderbolt here and take him out. So we're 3-0 at this point, and we're going up into our last matchup versus, or Prepare to Fight. And I actually scrim a lot with this person. I just want to say thank you to him. When I was trying to get my team ready for the Mirror Cup of the West, I scrimmed with this guy so much. Almost every single day for 30 minutes or an hour, however much time he had. So thanks for that. And he's got an interesting lineup with Tentacruel, Tropius, Lanturn, Swampert, Skarmory, and Medicham. So for me, I know that Swampert seems pretty good against his team. We get a bad matchup here, though, against Medicham. Swampert's really only scared of the Tropius and the Medicham. So we get our Hydro Cannon off, and I wanted to swap, but I think we actually CMP tied, which makes sense. It takes the same amount of time to get to both of those moves. So I get locked in there and take the Power Up Punch. So we swap into Altaria, which is going to be good against Medicham, and he swaps into Skarmory. This is a pretty even matchup. I do have the shield advantage now, so I think that I win this matchup with the shield advantage, and he blocks the Sky Attack, and we notice he hasn't done a Sky Attack yet, which is interesting. I thought maybe he was going for the Flash Cannon here, so I shield, but he actually ended up going for 2 Sky Attacks, and he piggybacked himself there, taking one of our shields and then bringing us really low health. But since he used all of that energy, we know we can make it to our own Sky Attack, and I believe this takes him out. No, really close, and then we auto-attack him down, but we do not take him out. So he's using the Charge Attack here because he wants the shield advantage, the switch advantage, and so when we take out this Skarmory, he's going to bring in a counter to this Swampert. But luckily we have a little bit of energy saved, and hopefully we Hydro Cannon just anything that comes out here. And he brings in the Medicham, which had really low health, and we Hydro Cannon it. So a pretty good idea by him there, and he has got Tropius in the back, but we have Skarmory in the back. So you notice he knew that we had enough energy for the Hydro Cannon there, so he brought in a Pokemon that was really low just to eat up that energy. But he got a little unlucky just because we had Skarmory in the back for the Tropius. If we had something else in there, he farms down our I was going to say Mudkip, our Swampert, and then goes into the next match, or the next Pokemon with a lot of energy. So we really liked that team, so we ended up going exactly the same. I really like Swampert in the front because he can get to his move so fast, and even if he's in a bad matchup, he can throw off a Hydro Cannon before anyone else can throw off anything, any other move, so that's why I really like Swampert in the front. And we actually get a good matchup. Swampert is really good against Skarmory here. So we throw out, we're just going to go straight Hydro Cannons here. We're not even going to try to bait anything because we beat him to his Sky Attacks every time because Swampert just charges so ridiculously fast. He throws out a Sky Attack here. I don't know if it would have KO'd us, but it would have brought us to about 10% HP, and then he would have just farmed us down the rest of the way. He shields this Hydro Cannon, and he has another Sky Attack in the back. So I end up shielding again because I want to win this match, and I want to go for the... I think I have 2 Hydro Cannons here. So even if he shields, we'll take him out. So we end up taking him out. We have the switch advantage, but he really got us on the shields there. So he's got the shield advantage, and he comes in with Lanturn. Lanturn's not going to be taking very much damage from any of our moves, and we're just going with a Muddy Water. And we don't even get the debuff, so not great for us. And we end up throwing out just the last minute Hydro Cannon here. Before Swampert goes down. So I think we're going to bring in Altaria, yep. Because Altaria is actually pretty good against Lanturn, unlike Skarmory's really bad against Lanturn. And he's got a Medicham in the back, and he swaps in. And I throw out the Sky Attack just to take his last shield, and then I want to swap as soon as possible into the Skarmory. Since the Skarmory's not going to be taking very much damage from these power-up punches. It's actually neutral damage, but they're just starting to power up right now, so I want him to eat them all. And if I get to that Sky Attack, I'll be able to one-shot the Medicham. Now, although he does have the Lanturn in the back, so I think he's just going to farm us down there, but he's actually really low HP, so he has to go for the Thunderbolt there. But our Altaria is so high HP in the back that we can just, fast attack him down there. So we ended up taking this regional cup on Ghost Stadium 4-0. I'm actually really surprised because my team had a lot of weaknesses to really meta picks. I think that Azumarill and Medicham were really good against my team. Maybe the only thing I had really going for me was that I had 2 flyers and they had to guess which flyer I was going to bring in, or if I was going to come in with a double flyer strat. I also had 2 waters. Maybe there was a little bit of head games there. I'm not sure. But yeah, and my team was also super weak against Bastiodon. But I also thought no one would end up bringing Bastiodon. Come to find out, half the people I played against had Bastiodon. So interesting there. I think I have one more video coming out for a regional cup that I did at a local remote tournament. And that team comp's really different from this team comp, really different from the Mirror Cup of the West. So go ahead and catch that. And if you want to catch it, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And go ahead and like this video if you thought it was helpful. Maybe you can do a double flyer strat. But I will say, if you were going to do this, maybe bring Azumarill. I think Azumarill is really good right now. I think I was a little weary on going triple water, but I think it's actually fine. Maybe take out the Sableye, since Sableye is in there to do good against Medicham and pretty decent against Skarmory. Azumarill plays those roles and is a little better. So, yeah, thanks for watching.